Some people cry out, others shout his name, but one woman said nothing. She didn't beg, she didn't plead, she simply reached. For 12 long years, she bled, not just physically, but emotionally, isolated, ashamed, forgotten, until one moment, one decision, changed her life forever. This is the story of a woman without a name, but with a faith that shook heaven. This is the woman who touched his robe. She is introduced with no name, just a description, a woman who had a discharge of blood for 12 years. That was her identity, the issue, the condition, the problem. In Jewish law, a woman with a flow of blood was unclean. She could not enter the temple. She could not touch others. She could not be touched. She lived a life of separation, rejected not because of sin, but because of sickness. For 12 years, she visited physicians, tried every treatment, spent all she had, and she grew worse, not just in her body, but in her spirit. Have you ever been there? When the world offers answers, but none of them heal you. Then one day, she heard about Jesus, not about a healer, but the healer, not another doctor, but the one who opened blind eyes, raised the dead, touched lepers, and something sparked inside her. A whisper, a dare. If I just touch his garment, I will be made well. It wasn't loud faith. It wasn't public faith. It was private, risky, bold. She didn't ask permission. She didn't shout for attention. She moved through the crowd, through the rules, through the fear. She knew the law said, don't touch, but her heart said, just one touch, and you'll be whole. The crowd pressed around Jesus, hundreds, all touching him, bumping into him, calling his name, and in that sea of chaos, one quiet touch changed eternity. Her fingers brushed the edge of his robe. Just fabric, just cloth, but instantly, the bleeding stopped, the pain vanished, her body was healed, but more than that, her soul was restored, and Jesus stopped, in the middle of a crowd, on the way to heal someone else. He turned, and asked, who touched me? The disciples were confused. Master, everyone's touching you. But Jesus replied, someone touched me, for I perceived power go out from me. It wasn't casual contact, it was desperate faith. The woman froze. She was already healed, but now she was seen. She came forward trembling, fell at his feet, and told him the whole truth. Her story, her shame, her sickness, her secret hope. She expected judgment, rejection, maybe even punishment, but instead, she received words no one else had spoken to her. In 12 years, Jesus looked at her and said, daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace, and be healed of your affliction. Daughter, not stranger, not sinner, not outcast. Daughter, he didn't just heal her body. He restored her identity. So many people touched Jesus that day, but only one touched him with faith. Faith doesn't have to be loud, or perfect, or public, it just has to reach. This woman's faith had no voice, but it had motion. It moved her forward, through the fear, through the crowd, through the shame. Her miracle wasn't in a sermon, or a spotlight, but in a moment, a touch, a whisper of belief. And it still happens today, in secret places, for people with silent prayers and broken hearts. Maybe you've been bleeding, not with blood, but with rejection, loneliness, grief. Maybe your story has no stage, no applause, just tears on your pillow. But faith doesn't need a microphone, it just needs motion, reach, even if your hand trembles. Even if no one sees, even if all you touch is the edge of his robe, he will stop for you, speak to you, call you daughter or son, and your secret miracle will become your public testimony. This was the woman who touched his robe and never bled again.